Disabilities in Canadian Schools, a presentation by Nathan and Hanan. Our project aimed to examine the support systems for students with disabilities in Canadian schools. Our research questions were: what supports exist for students with disabilities? What barriers prevent effective implementation? Our thesis was: systemic barriers, insufficient funding, training, and accessibility prevent equitable education despite these policies. Key findings: 78% of educators lack restraint prevention training. 60% of students face exclusion despite inclusion mandates. And I have personal experience where my son was isolated without notification on multiple times, confirming systemic gaps. Recommendations: mandatory teacher training, equitable funding models, and a stronger policy enforcement.
This project is personal. Nathan, a parent of a 6-year-old nonverbal child with disabilities, and an educational support worker in training, and myself, a training as a social service worker, have seen real gaps in support. Nathan's son was isolated without a notice, and my colleague, autistic child, was also dismissed due to the untrained staff. Educational assistants are stretched thin, one for every 3 students. Our parents and us, as future educators or social workers' perspective, may lean towards students' need, but we are using these insights to push for better systems. So let's share how we're driving change.
Overview of the research project. What we decided to do was the multimedia project, and we were going to do 5 Instagram posts to raise awareness and design a poster to highlight key issues and solutions. The poster was designed to emphasize the shocking data. I pulled quotes from important sources that grabbed attention, used a darker design to match the mood and the serious tone, used bright colored text to highlight important content, used a graphic AI in Canva to create the larger image, and I used a real photo of my son for the smaller image.
Now let's dive into the social media posts that bring our research to life. The first is seclusion in schools. You'll see an image of a child alone, isolated behind a locked door, reflecting the reality of 29% of caregivers had reported their children with disabilities were secluded, often without notice, and that is stats that we got from Community Living Ontario 2025. This post highlights the alarming seclusion rate and stresses that we have to include and push for inclusive classrooms where every child feels safe. The second post, Trauma from Restraint and Seclusion, features a powerful quote about child deep traumatized by these practices. You'll see here that we're shedding the light on lasting harm caused by restraints and seclusion, and that is sharing a personal perspective on a deep trauma a child had endured. Advocacy through the hashtag Stop Restrain Inclusive Schools, and also urging safer schools environment. Now, let's explore the next set of social media posts that deepen our research narrative. The first is underfunding crisis. We had used mix of blue and green tones to convey concern and hope, featuring an image of a crowded classroom. The content highlights the rising overcrowding and the school violence affecting students, noting that insufficient